And a very good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our Lyceum Night, coming to you from the Paul Christian Spiritualist Church, way down on the south coast of the UK. Great delight to introduce our guest tonight. Not only is he is just a wonderful person, and we have got a good friendship as well. So we have the lovely Fredrik Haglund with us tonight. Fredrik, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Lawrence, and thank you for that introduction. I was just wondering if it was me you were talking to or if it was someone else. So thank you for inviting me back. It's always a pleasure.
It was written for somebody else, but they cancelled, so never mind. Anyway, joking. We've got a really wide-ranging topic tonight about education in spiritualism. It's, as I said, we can there's a lot of ground to cover, so we'll just see how the conversation unfolds. Fredrik, you are, I know from personal experience, you are a very gifted tutor, and I'm not just saying that to butt you up because I don't want anything off of you. You are a very gifted tutor, and you have this wonderful way with your students of giving that personal attention to their unfoldment and the support, and where it comes in, the no nonsense approach, because we do have I call them vanity workshops sometimes. You just see a workshop and it's, oh, you're wonderful, oh, you're lovely, oh, yes, that's great. And, it doesn't present the earnest student any challenge for growth or further knowledge or anything. What would you say is one of the key attributes of a good student? We will come on to the tutors later, but what about the students themselves?
I mean, as a student, you really want to gain as much as knowledge you can in all aspects. So therefore, you need to have a tutor who see the needs that you have as a person as well, both on the spiritual level and also on the physical level, because everything goes very much hand in hand, personal and spiritual. And from there is also what you put into it yourself. I mean, you can go for a weekend workshop to just learning, or you can go there to just have fun, or a combination of it. But it's all about the structure from the tutor as well, how the tutor is teaching, the experience and the knowledge of the tutor and the way they explain.
Yeah, really good points in there.
Yeah. And I have to say, I think I have been fortunate to have many really good teachers who have taught me different aspects from their way of experience, and then I have been able to take the best from everyone. And it's all what you said. It was no nonsense. It was straight to the point, and you always had an opportunity to do exactly what the teacher said, or do at least the best you can, and or just do nothing. It's your money, it's your way. But that's how it is, and of course it's much up to yourself what you put into it.
Very much so, and that is very much a key part that we face in our education. It's not only the students' willingness to what they're going to put into it, but also their willingness to actually maybe leave behind some things that we've just come to believe without challenge, or fixed ideas within that teaching environment. And I know you as a working medium and a tutor and a host and chairman for the SNUI, but you still go out and take the opportunities for further learning and further development yourself, do you not?
Yeah, I do, because no matter in which state you are, no matter how far you have come, there's always more to learn. I mean, there's there is so much more to learn than you have the knowledge of today, because the teachers of tomorrow, have you not met yet? Because the teachers of tomorrow is there waiting for you when you are ready to be taught for tomorrow.
Indeed.
So, and to be able to continue in your work, you need to have the hunger to wanting to know more, wanting to see more, wanting to have more experience of the life after this. But again, you need to be in balance with everything within yourself, and also meeting the right people who believes in you, that you feel comfortable, where you can share your experience, who can speak to you why things happening, and the difficulties you have in your development.
Yep. Brings us on nicely to that point about the educational side and the development, not only of our tutors, but to our students and everything, spirituality, our own spiritual progress on this journey. You know, we tend to forget that we are here on a journey ourselves of exploration, learning, and understanding. Just being a medium doesn't make you anything special. You know, it's just we are all travelers on this time, and this is something that I'm seeing
Mhm.
a little bit too much for comfort now, where purely the mechanics of mediumship are being taught, but very little development or unfoldment of the medium themselves. What do you think about that?
Mhm. I think we're going back again to the way we have been taught and trained, because when I started my development, and when you started, probably when you started yours as well, the teacher we had was very much into mechanic. It has to be in that way, in that way, in that way. But when I see the picture today, it's not how I want to do the mediumship. It's how the spirit world wants to present themselves. What I want is totally uninteresting, but the most interesting is to tell a story from the person in the spirit world in the way they want to tell it, not in the way I want to tell it, in the way they want to tell it.
Yeah, yeah,
because because if they are, let's take an example, if they are 60 years when they pass to the spirit world, they have 60 years of experience, and they might see and speak in a way that they feel comfortable, and not in the way I feel comfortable. So it's stepping out of your comfort zone and allow this person in the spirit world to tell their story in their way. And I think that's pretty much missed today.
yeah, yeah. I do agree. A lot of people, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. A lot of people may be familiar with the way mediumship used to be taught, and still is to a degree nowadays, of CERT. So you had the communicator, the evidence, the reason coming, the tying up. And I love what you're saying there, because our job is to tell that communicator's story, not to sit them in a chair with a notepad and just asking these dry, derisory questions. How old are you? What did you do? X, Y, Z. Because you can actually hear that in these the messages coming through. You can hear that disconnection sometimes between the medium and the communicator, which is sad, because, like you quite rightly said there, we are linking in with living sentient intelligences that have lived a life of, just say, for example, 60 years. Now, that person, we're going to talk about spirit or energy, that person has got this whole wealth of information, this whole wealth of memories, of knowledge, of understandings there. And as I say, sometimes we limit what the other world is saying to us because we're going for, right, I want this now, right, I want this now, right, why have you come? And it's a very difficult thing to overcome with some people, because a lot of people want this structure in their mind. But as I say, we don't talk to our friends like that. Who have we got? Lovely Elspeth has just joined us. So I don't sit down with Elspeth and go, how old are you? Where were you born? What did you do for a living? What do you want to say to us tonight? You know what I mean? It's just not fluid, is it?
No. Because everything that is important from the communicator will come when you tell the story of the communicator anyway. I mean, of course, it's good to have the relationship, man or a woman, and passing condition, but the rest, it will come with itself. And today, they will tell the story.
Indeed.
Because they wanting to come forward equally much as the recipient in the congregation will have the communication. So they will do everything they can to be the best match.
Indeed. I'm so sorry, I just got to bring this in. It's a lovely Elspeth's response to I think, how old are you? Elspeth, I don't care. You're always 21 in my eyes. But this continual progression that we can have if we choose in our mediumship. This is something we are very keen to support and encourage, because, like you say, we've got a whole lifetime of memories, and the more we work with these things, the more we work with our mediumship, our philosophy, our healing, the more our overall mediumship is going to improve. So it's it's just so important that we continue on with these aspects and overcome this sometimes quality that we see in people of, oh, well, I've done that workshop now, that's it. And it's like, no, that's a door opening.
Yeah.
What do you
think? I mean, to just take an example, I mean, if I attend a workshop or weekend course today, I struggle equally much as I did in the beginning, because even if I'm doing my mediumship, I'm still struggling when I attend a workshop or a course, because it's no difference for me from anyone else in the group. And so therefore it's so important to attend further development with someone that you feel comfortable, or someone that you're curious about the teaching. I mean, not long ago, I attended a workshop online with the lovely Angela Foster, and it was so good and so nurturing and important for my development. And I have attended a workshop with Ricky Abetan online as well, to gain the knowledge and understanding, because it has helped me. Because at those moments that I felt I wanted to do them, that was something within me. My soul told me it's time to develop, it's time to go forward. And I also felt drawn to those tutors to attend.
Yeah, that's very true. Quite often I nearly said burden, but it's not burden. It's the amount of work that we as working mediums tend to take on. We've got a very bad habit of just saying yes. Can you do yes? Can you do yes? And before you know it, the time for us slips by. So it's really important. We wouldn't do this in a paid working environment. We wouldn't be working 60 hours a week in a 40-hour contract.
No.
We would be sticking to our hours and then making sure we've got our other time for our other devotions to do. So this continual improvement is just so important here. The lovely, your fault, you said her name, and there she was. The lovely Angela is saying, we need to surrender so that we don't start taking control and equally both passive and active. Yeah. That phrase there, both passive and active, that is such a struggle. That is such a struggle to understand. When we work with our awareness, being aware of everything and not engaging with anything, it's a very different mind set.
I mean, you have a church yourself, and that you have people coming in for circle and workshops and groups. What do you see as a difference in people coming? Do you see them coming in just of curiosity, or just because they want to learn and they're eager to learn?
There's a wide range of people that come into circles. We've had a little shift here and a more open development circles, and that's been quite interesting for the range of people coming in, who can range from the minute they walk in the door, there's something there, and you just go, oh, this is interesting. Am I the right key for your lock? That's the way I look at it. You know, not every tutor is going to match up with every student, and not every student is going to match up with every tutor, vice versa. Then you do, we get people coming in out of curiosity, want to try and gain an understanding. You do have a band of people who, I mean, like a bandwidth of people who, how do I say this? They've got very fixed ideas about the other world and how they work with us and what is potential for raising our standards, raising our abilities. And sometimes when you've got people with these very fixed views, they can be the ones that prove, you know, you've got to try so many different ways of approaching the same subject with them, because it's become entrenched over the years. It does seem like some people go out, they maybe do a couple of workshops and they go, oh, right, that's it. Mm-hmm. And then when a new view comes in, it's like, no, because we do it that way. Yeah, but try doing it this way. But I don't want to, because I want to do it this way. So yeah, you get a very wide range of people. What are you laughing at? Did I say that properly?
No, it was just the way you were said it, because I recognized it from people that I meet. I have always done it in this way, and I'm always going to do it in this way, no matter what people tell me. So I
do find that a frustration, because my view, you know, if I go somewhere, if I came and sat with you as your student, I wouldn't be saying to you, no, we don't do that. We do. Do you know what I mean? I'm just, where is that experience of actually going, okay, I'm here to learn. Let's put all the barriers down. Let's put all the, you know, take it on. And I always say to people, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. But well done for trying it. And that's the key. That's the key.
Because
getting people to try.
Because you can never get too little experience or too little knowledge. There is always there, and then it will sort it out itself, and what you need will be put in your toolbox for further use when the time is right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And also it's the, and I'm sure, I hope, I'm sure you've come across this thinking process sometimes that I'm going to be a medium, irrespective, you know, I am going to be a medium and I'm going to learn from you. And after sitting with you for however long, I will then be a medium and able to go out. And I always smile when people say about the money in mediumship, and I'm going like, really? Where's that then? I've never found it. But yeah, it's the expectations is one of the things that go hand in hand with the education. You know, if you can put together a basic link and a basic construct, you're on the path, and it's to be celebrated and encouraged. but you're not there. You're not there yet by a long shot. And again, linking this in with the actual spiritual, emotional, and ethical development of the sitters. That is a lifelong journey. I always say with our healing team here, when we take on new healers, and so the first thing you're going to have to deal with is healing the stuff that's going to come up from yourself before other people. So lots of people on tonight. Wonderful. Thank you. Lovely Andrew again. She said, I was once told by a student that their tutors said she couldn't teach them anything more. They took it as a compliment. Yeah, nice line. I like that line.
Yeah. Or you could take it in another way, that they didn't want to have the student any longer.
Yeah, I think that's probably where that one was going, actually.
No, I mean, we've forgotten one thing when we're speaking about mediumship, that everyone are born into this world with a mediumistic ability. It's not that it's a gift to someone. I mean, everyone has the ability, and if we were chosen to do this, that means our God would have favorites, and I don't believe God has any favorites. So therefore, accept yourself then. But I think
I'm loving that statement.
Yeah, but I think if we just realize that we all have this ability, and it's all about what you put into it yourself, and of course, some people have easier to go on with it, as someone who is born are easier to play piano than someone else. So I mean, it's all about development, understanding, and teaching, and it goes hand in hand. But everyone can do this in one way or another. Not everyone wants to be a platform medium or do private readings, but there is so much more than just platform mediumship and private readings mediums.
Indeed. I absolutely love that statement about God having favorites. Thank you. I'm going to use that, but I will quote you because that so the terminology that we use sometimes in our movement is a little bit misleading. And when people say, "Oh, were you born with this gift?" I'm like, "Well, no, I was born with an ability, and I chose to develop it." Other people are born with it. I cannot draw. I will never be a psychic artist. All right, not unless you want a psychic artist in the style of the Bruins for our Scottish.
But you had the ability when you were born into this world.
I probably did, but I've never developed it, and I'm now in that age where, we'll leave that alone. But there are other people. There are some fantastic artists out there. I am totally fascinated by Richard Stuttle at the moment because his autographs are really profound. I absolutely love watching his work. And again, he's got this ability. He's developed it hand in hand in conjunction with his own spiritual development and the other world, and the results, I think and feel, are quite phenomenal.
Yeah,
they really are, because as I say, you just look at some of his works and you just go, wow, that is incredible. But this thing about mediumship, this has always been the big draw in our movement, hasn't it? Everybody sees a medium working, and I want to do that. I want to be that person. Not understanding the commitment, the financial outlay, that's part of it. Whether you're going to a circle, a course, or a week at the college, there's always finances involved somewhere along the line. The dedication and actually your own ability. Is that evidential mediumship energy in the sitter's energy? I've had people approach for development circles, and very quickly it becomes apparent to say, actually, I think you would find the healing circle more beneficial, because there are things there we need to deal with before we would even endeavor to try and start linking with the other world. Yeah, come on, sorry.
But with those working with healing, they are so often forgotten, because all the medium has all the focus when you go to a service, and then in the saying that you mentioned, oh, we have healing before the service or after the service, there is no one who's telling the importance of the healing, or who the healer are, because they are equally important as everyone else who make this service possible.
Indeed.
I mean, if the medium doesn't turn up, there's always someone else in the congregation or the chairman who can step up and do the mediumship. But not everyone are capable and able to do healing in its way is meant to do. So for me, the healer is equally important as the medium, as the lady who making the tea and the coffee and the biscuits and everything.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, down to those who do the cleaning in the church, because if the place is dirty, you don't want to come back. But if the place is clean, you're happy to come back.
This is it. It's when we talk about the education within the movement, it's not just confined, not focused solely on our evidential mediumship. It's all the facets. I mean, I'm very fortunate here at Paul that I've got a wonderful community that I can draw upon for various things. We've got a really good active healing circle, and the healers, thankfully, don't need rosters or anything to organize themselves. They talk amongst each other and they arrange who's going to be here, who's not, blah, blah, blah. And it just works. But you're quite right, you know, they are the unsung heroes, the healers, the people that just make it happen. You know, when you walk through the door, everything you see is a result of somebody's hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all about saying hello and feel and make people feel welcome as they're stepping into the church, and just don't ignore them. I mean, if there's new people coming to the church because they have moved to the area and they're curious about spiritualism or mediumship or services, and there is no one who welcome them at the door, I mean, that would be a very difficult feeling.
Yep. No, it's true. But again, all these people are doing all these different tasks, and none are higher, none are lower than any other, because like any clock, if you take out the smallest spring, it won't work. But in and through that, we have that opportunity there for the educational side, you know, because most of the people, I can only talk for Paul Church here, but the people on the door have all lived a life. They've all had highs, they've all had lows, they've all got that empathic quality that when people come in and they actually recognize this, because they're here in the energy, they've been sat in circles to develop, and that carries through to the smile at the door, or just the knowing when somebody comes in, just knowing that they may need that little bit extra care, that little bit extra attention. Same with the healers as well. You know, they can pick up and just know how to treat that person. This is a big thing in churches, is how we treat people and how we talk to people, and how we are as people. And again, this is all developed and assisted by the spiritual education with people. It doesn't have to be in a classroom scenario. It just has to be just in that environment, being with others and picking these things up and learning them is all part of that progression of the soul.
And I'm not going to criticize any churches, because I haven't been to many of them. But those I have been to, there is so much lack of understanding and knowledge. So I think if the churches comes together and working together instead of working against each other, that would be such a big win-win situation to support and help each other, because that's all about the spiritualism and mediumship as well, to come together and support each other and help each other, and this is not a one-man show.
Definitely. There's always been an age-old thing that when you get a certain number of churches in a smaller area, you do get this, not say rivalry, but separation, where, you know, we're saying the same thing. For goodness sake, we're talking from the same book. We're talking about the same things. Why is that separation there? What is that about? So, Angela, just saying, it's a great shame that we divide healing by where and how we were taught rather than just where it comes from.
Yeah.
Very true. Lovely Elspeth. And everyone is a link in the chain. Very, very much. Reverend Ashley, she's saying, we were talking in development circle about the importance of strong chairing as a facilitation for the medium and congregation. A service is built on layers of energy. Oh, I like that.
Another quote for you to steal.
Yeah. I didn't steal. I just spread the word.
Borrow. Yeah. I have seen your book of borrowed thoughts.
I'm gonna have to give him back one day. But yeah, that is a really good point, Ashley. And again, this reflects again on the education within our movement. We do need strong chairs. We do need people that can not only work with their voice, their understanding, their character, and their nature, but also with their understanding and deeper unfoldment of working with the other world. Because sitting up there, you are not isolated. You are energetically supporting the medium. You are energetically creating that atmosphere and that welcome and that inclusivity through the choice of words on what we say, our demure, our character. You know, are we at ease with our congregation, or are we like terrified of them? And all these things come out. All these things are there to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a horrible chairman, you can feel so uncomfortable on the platform, even if you have done so many demonstrations, so many churches. So, I mean, the role of the chairman is very, very important. And I do know the Spiritualist National Union has courses and the workshop how to become a proper chairman.
Good, because it is an art. It is, yeah, there is a lot of knowledge. There is so much to take in. You are the one in charge of things. It's not up for the meeting. I've seen this, unfortunately, where there's an issue between the medium and somebody in the congregation, and the chair just sort of like sits back and watches it unfold. Well, actually, it's your job as the chair to bring that decorum in. Lovely Libby Bellhouse, who is president at Bath Road Spiritualist, just up the road from us. And she's saying, on behalf of all healers, thank you. Thank you, Libby. I shall see you during the week. And lovely Roy McKay. Some churches do not welcome, and it shows with the energy and the ambience of the church. Really true. Yeah, really true. Yeah.
And you see, in Sweden, where I live, we don't have any spiritualist churches, and we have nothing really to compare with UK or Scotland, because it would be easier for people outside UK to understand what we are talking about. But unfortunately, we don't have any churches or centers here as you have in UK.
Yeah. But isn't that to be seen also as a bit of an opportunity? You know, that you're not going to be, because spiritualism, and correct me if I'm wrong, is very much a new unfolding understanding in Europe. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Maybe, but you also have to see, I mean, when we speak about spiritualism in Sweden, for example, it's very much connecting to religion. You can speak about mediumship, you can speak about mediums, and you can speak about psychic. But when you go in and speak about spiritualism, it's very much connecting to religion, and everyone has the fear of religion due to what's happening in the world. And if this was a recognized religion from the beginning, there would have been less problem. But today, unfortunately, is how the world is looking, and that's affecting the spiritualism as well, at least in Sweden. And I think I can speak for the whole Scandinavia, because we have spiritual movements, we have spiritual groups, and where people do demonstrations, and but not in the way where you have the philosophy, where you have the prayers, which is pity, because with the philosophy, it could be really amazing to listen to if you have a good speaker. And within the philosophy, there is so much knowledge and development and understanding as well. It's not to listen to a medium who's saying, oh, this is how I came into spiritualism. That is not the philosophy. The philosophy is something that touch each and every one in the congregation, and it doesn't matter if there is 5 people in the congregation or if there is 150 people in the congregation. If it's a good speaker, then everyone can take something from the philosophy.
Very true. And again, it's the education side of it. So whether people grasp this or not, you know, when you have a very well delivered and a very wonderfully orchestrated address between the medium, the other world, and the gathering itself, you know, there is great potential there to, if you can just shift one person's thinking through a really good address from going like that, and if you can just shift it slightly, that will continue, and you have no idea how that's going to unfold. You have no idea of the potential of just being able to just slightly shift somebody's understanding, giving somebody another perspective to look at something. And so when you go back to the turn of the century mediums and the movement itself, there was an awful lot of people that had very high profile positions. So there was MPs, judges, very high up in military, and all these different organizations. And these people were very well placed, but in and through their understanding from the philosophy of spiritualism, you know, you have to ask yourself, would these people have done all the good that they did had that not been in their life? And I don't think that would have happened. I really don't. I really think that slight nudge somewhere led them on another path, which led them to see discourse, unfairness, inequality, poverty, things like that, and just went, do you know what? This is wrong, because there's no difference between me, you, them, or them up there. We're all the same.
Yeah.
You can borrow that one.
I can.
Yes, you can. Lovely, Reverend Ashley. This is picking up on what we were saying about the newness of spiritualism to Europe. And she's commenting there, but you can set your own standard by planting new spiritual churches and communities and breaking new ground. So there you go, Fredrik, you got a job.
If I was, I mean, it wouldn't be any problem to rent a place and have a spiritual community. But if I would say I will start a spiritualist church here, it won't work, because people will run away, because it's the name of the church, and then you have to mention the word God and things like that. So it has been tried out so many times, but it unfortunately it doesn't really work. If you speak about God, you have to do it in a certain way, otherwise you will scare people away. And we do try to do it in the best way we can.
Yep, and I'm sure that you do. Because am I right in understanding from what you just said that religion is quite entrenched in the Scandinavian countries? And
I can only speak for Sweden there, and in Sweden it is.
got you. I understand. Thank you. I see. I just made that little shift.
Yeah.
I understand that much better now. Thank you, Fredrik. It is very difficult when you have, we see with some organizations certain criteria for joining, etc. And it comes at the cost of excluding an awful lot of the orthodox religions. We really need to learn to work hand in hand. And, well, Medium's first charter, cause no harm. So in and through that statement, if you know that you're dealing with a population that have got a very entrenched view of a religion and their understanding of their perception of their God, then you don't go in there all guns blazing trying to change that. You go in there and work alongside that vibration.
Yep. And I mean, if you look into the similarities in all religions, because there is similarities, then you can always find a red thread to speak about God without offending anyone, because all the religions has a God. All the religions believe in a God in one way or another. It's just how you tap into it, and what you are saying, and you can do that, as you say, without offending anyone, and that's important. And the same when you do a spiritual address. You don't offend any other religion or any other religious person, so it shouldn't be any different to speak for another religion.
I did witness one address once. And isn't it sad? The negative memories tend to sometimes hang around a bit longer than the positive ones, because I've seen some absolutely astounding addresses.
That's a human thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling me human. That's nice. I know some people out there would disagree with you, but never mind. That's their joy. But yeah, this address was built around attacking an established religion, and it was just woeful. It really was, because it wasn't the voice of spirit, it was the voice of somebody who's obviously got an axe to grind. And the fact it was allowed to continue, where you should go in and have a joyful experience and come out uplifted. We were all sort of like looking at the time, waiting to make a bolt for the door, because nobody wanted to be in there any longer. And that's what people can do without that correct understanding, without that development, without that unfoldment. Bring in the personal responsibility. You can bring in quite a few of the principles on that. But it actually comes down to the person. It actually comes down to that soul stood there, their understanding, their link with the other world, their compassion, their intelligence. So many facets there that need that work. We have quite a few comments, which is always good.
But then you also have people who don't want to learn anything about the philosophy. They just want to do the mediumship, and they don't really care about the prayers and the philosophy. And I think when you do your mediumship, at least you should be able to do your own prayers and be able to give a philosophical speech.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Somebody said to me recently, and I thought, I understand what you've just said. I really don't agree with it, but I actually understand the ethos behind it. And it was about developing of mediums. And this person was only training evidential mediums in the message and nothing else. And when the question was raised about asking about prayer and philosophy, the response was, well, you don't need them because you're only going to do demonstrations. The fundamental I do not agree with, but I understand how that school of thought has come around, because it's a lack of, to me, I have this, Andrew is going to correct me in a minute, but I have my three-legged stool principle, which apparently somebody said 10 years ago, and I don't care because I never heard it. So, and my three-legged stool is our evidential mediumship, our philosophy, and our healing. And if you like, the seat is our mediumship. That's the encompassing that brings all those factors together. And this is something I do teach and I do push and I do harp on about here in our teaching circles. Because if you work equally on all those three areas, each area by right will improve because of the work from the other two areas.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, totally agree.
Yeah. So we've touched on something here by mentioning the F word. I like to think the philosophy is like the story of the loaves and fishes. Everybody gets something. Nice one, Roy. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely, Jamie. I often think that we underestimate the philosophy that is reflected in the message. I like to think we can find philosophy in the message and find a message in the philosophy.
That's true as well.
Yeah. When we talk about the reason for coming, what's the message? This disjointed thing. I would say the message is in the evidence that's already been given. So in a way, that philosophy is already present in the evidence acquired, and from that will produce thinking and thoughts to go forward with. So yeah, we like that, Jamie. And going back to when I was asking about the religious aspects of Scandinavian countries, and you're saying quite rightly, I think it's a similar situation in Germany and Spain. They have a very restricted view of religion.
Yeah. I do know with Spain, the mainland in Spain, they actually have a few spiritualist churches where they're working in the spiritual movement as they do in UK. And I don't think there is many, but there is a few. I have a few friends who goes to Spain and work.
Yes, lovely Sandra. She's off there very shortly. There used to be a centre, and I believe it's no longer functioning, which is a shame. But I think now, since 2020, with the advent of this virtual representation of our movement, that the interest now is gaining more and more ground. So again, the Europe is this huge potential to look at the UK, look at some of the practices in the UK and sort of pick and choose, that works well, that one doesn't. But also incorporate the newness, the freshness into our movement. As you quite rightly say, this is a very common thing. People will say the word church and that's it. You can just see the shutters go down, or religion, and similarly, you can see the shutters go down. On the other side of the coin, we have here every Sunday morning between 40 and 50 people come into a church for a religious service. So
that's amazing.
But it is there. But we do have a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction sometimes in our movement. That one person says, "Oh, I don't like it because so-and-so," and then suddenly that becomes an issue. And sadly, and I'm sure you've come across this, and a lot of the people watching, that people are very quick to say something or do something, and when it actually comes to any action over it, oh no, I couldn't come, I couldn't do this. And where I've seen churches become centres. I also question then that, you know, you've got a church is no longer a church, it's now a centre. And one of the first things that generally happens is they'll have a divine service with ministers taking on this divine service to celebrate the centre. And I just think, but that's church.
Yeah.
Why have you done that?
It is.
Lovely Jamie.
No.
Fredrik, would those be run by expat? Talking about the churches in Spain, he's asking, would they be run by expats rather than Spanish people?
One at least is run by Spanish people. The one where my friend Sandra, our friend Sandra goes, I think they are UK people who has moved to Spain.
Right. Mm-hmm. Does that answer your question, Mr. Williamson?
Yeah.
The Angela just commenting when I said about the three-legged stool, and it came from the spirit world. They just accessed it first. Yes, that's fine.
So, I mean, if we go back to development and education, it's very much up to oneself as well, because if I don't get the education and the knowledge, there is no one to blame. It's my own personal responsibility to gain and have the knowledge that I need for the work that I'm doing. And there's plenty of good teachers and tutors in the world, both online and in real world as well. So there's just to pick and choose, and don't trust what your friends telling you is a good tutor. Listen to yourself, listen to your soul. If your soul is telling you this is a good tutor, that is the way to go, no matter what other people's telling you, because what that tutor has is maybe something you need at this moment in time, and your friends might not be on the same track or the same journey as yourself, and not at the level as yourself. But if you feel a pull to go with a teacher, either it's online or in a real place, go with a teacher, because that's the right way for you.
Indeed. And we do get drawn, because the more we work and develop our sensitivity, this is going to reflect in a lot of aspects of our life. And one of them is that we see people, hear people, especially nowadays with the online, the virtual approach, and you'll just see people and just going, oh yeah, or oh maybe not. And there's nothing, there's no preconceptions there. It just doesn't resonate, or it's stopped resonating. That's always sad. But yeah, trust your intuition, trust that. And to just be open to furtherment, to increasing your knowledge, your understanding, and your ability, and see where it takes you, rather than you being in the driving seat telling it where to go.
Yeah. Because this is your journey, and only your journey, and no one else's journey. So therefore, you need to do your journey as perfect as you can do it, no matter what other people's telling you, because this journey is lonely enough, and we need to do it as comfortable as we possibly can, and surrounding ourselves with people that we feel comfortable with, people that we can trust and know when they're saying something is from the bottom of the heart. Because in this movement there is so much jealousy, negativity, and a rubbish that goes on because of people who are jealous of someone else. And instead of the spiritualism and the mediumship should be all supporting each other, because everyone, there is a medium for everyone.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And there is, our world is full of conflict. And, what goes on in the outer world happens in our world. Within spiritualism, why we would ever think we were immune to all this, I don't know. But there is so much going on. But somebody said something in a message today, and I just went, do you know what? I absolutely love that. And they had made a comment on the amount of discourse that goes on. And they'd actually said something along the lines of, nobody outside of spiritualism knows any of these people that everybody's jumping up and down in the air about, and they actually couldn't care less. And I thought, do you know what? That is a really good comment, because actually that brought the whole energy, all the conflict, it just brought it right down. This is our little world. People outside have no idea what we're about, no idea what's going on. And
they're careless.
Yeah. So stop getting so heated over it. Stop getting so, I am right. I am right. And until you agree with me, you are right. Don't just go away. Simply just go away. Go back to the drawing board. Anyway.
And I like what Haley Daniels wrote. I don't know if you can put it up.
I can.
There. Always something you can learn from every connection, and that's so true. Just be open and see what you can gain from what people are saying. Either you do a reading or you see a demonstration, or wherever you are in the world. This is not about mediumship or spirituality, because wherever you are in the world and whatever you listen to, there's always something you can learn.
Most definitely. On our professional side of working mediums, definitely. Also on our personal development side, and even when the connections are not as we would wish, let's put it nicely like that, there is always a lesson in there. You've got to look for it. If we respond from our base emotions, we may lose that lesson. But yeah, there's always lessons in everything. Just sit back and look at it and go, do you know what? Okay, yep. Like the wonderful Roy says there, every action has a reaction. Very true. But I think we need to work more on our response rather than reaction. How do we treat this that comes into our life? How do we deal with this that comes into our life? Do we want to deal with it? Should we deal with it? Or should we just go, okay, that's fine. Yeah, you carry on. Absolutely.
You can't tell everyone that you don't want in your life to F off. It's not appropriate. It would be nice, but it's not appropriate.
Not really, no. And luckily, we're nearly over the watershed, so that's all right. Yeah.
No, but again, I think people who really wants to learn, there is so much for you to look into outside, and don't be afraid. There is always people you can ask, and there's always churches. There's always people that you can write to and ask.
Very much, yeah, very much. I never turned it. If somebody asks me something and I know it's meant very earnestly, I will always respond to it. If it's a response they need, great. If it isn't, well, thanks for trusting me and asking me. But yeah, we're and nowadays our world has opened up since 2020. I would never have known the existence of you, and vice versa.
No.
We would not have had this bond, this friendship, and working together. And that goes right the way through the list of wonderful people that we've all met online, that we've all interacted with. So we've got all these vast knowledge base that we can go to now, and just, don't feel silly. Don't feel, I can't ask them that, because yes, you can. Yes, you can ask them that. If you want to put your question in this form of a statement, that can sometimes get a bit difficult to manage. But if you are earnestly looking and earnestly just want to bounce an idea around, we've just got this ability now to do it 7 days a week. Angela, unfortunately, by design, intent, or accident, we had so many layers of inconsequential to the wonderful state of connection to the spirit world who despair in no doubt. Very true.
Yep.
Very true. You know what? They're upstairs or by our side or whatever your conception is. Some people say, oh, they must be looking at us and shaking their heads. I don't think they are.
No, they're walking right by our side.
Yeah, I don't think they are shaking their heads. They're just going, okay, come on, how are you going to manage this? How are you
I
going to
mean,
manage it?
my understanding, and I might be wrong, but it is we are pretty much in the spirit world already, and the spirit world is in our world already. So
Mm.
we are in each other's world already.
Yeah, yeah. Because then, if they're shaking their, I'm going to pick up on the thread that you said earlier on. If they're sat there shaking their head, that means they've got some sort of a judgmental factor because they don't agree with it. I've never had the spirit world say to me, you must or you must not. They may say, have you considered this? Have you thought about that? Would you like that yourself? It's always put in this very passive way of making you responsible, which it should be. You are responsible for all your actions and responses.
Exactly, and you can't blame anyone else.
No. Damn it.
I saw the sadness in your eyes.
Damn. Anyway, moving on. Lorraine. Hello, Lorraine, darling. We can't change someone's opinion, but we can. Oh, yeah. We can change our reaction to it. So true. Yeah. Yeah. If somebody wants to trigger you, you
I
carry
totally
on.
agree.
Reverend Ashley, every person is a mirror and every situation is a teacher. We are not responsible for the actions of others, but we are responsible for our own response to it. How very true.
True.
How very true. Avoiding, going back into the past and going, oh, but 10 years ago you said that, just stop it. Just leave it alone. Deal with it in the moment. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Lovely John Pugsley. After being introduced to Nothing Fancy, that's the online spiritualist church. I think Susan Hughes is now running that.
Yeah.
I am so happy to interact with so many wonderful people. Yeah, this is such a game changer. Such a game changer for us. I speaking from the viewpoint of Paul Church. We have and continue to have some wonderful orators, demonstrators, tutors, healers, all sorts from everywhere. Not only here in our virtual lyceums, but also physically up there on the platform that you can see behind Fredrik's head there. So thank you for the advertising. But also online. Lovely Angela is in the room. We often will sit and have a chat in the morning and bounce ideas. Things will come up and I'll just think, oh, I'm going to ask so-and-so that because I just feel drawn that Fredrik, not to embarrass you, I had a bit of a meltdown about going away teaching. And you contacted me and was talking. I said, I'm just having real issue with this. And you just said, well, the spirit world wouldn't have put it in front of you if they didn't think you could do it. And that just totally destroyed every argument that I built up in my head.
But that's so true. And
yeah,
if you just listen to the spirit world and go with the flow, they would always do what's best for you, and they wouldn't put you in a situation where you didn't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, how true. Jamie Williamson, spirit know what it's like to be human and have evolved enough to be empathic. Yeah.
But sometimes it's so easy to blame the spirit world for everything that goes wrong instead of looking into ourselves. We are the one who's creating the problem, and we are the one who's going to solve the problem. The spirit world will support us in the way we do it.
Yeah, could not agree more. All there is in this world is us, you, me. We are responsible. We are the ones in the mirror.
Yeah.
As I say, it's a very human condition that we look for somebody to blame or somebody to save us. And as I always say, that person is the person in the mirror. You are the one. Everything that comes your way, you can have advice, you can gain greater understanding, you can gain a slightly shifted perspective about it and the way you respond to things from the other world. But it comes from you. It comes to you, for you, to be you. Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that. That's mine. Anyway, thank you, Fredrik. I know you've been working as a medium before we came online tonight, so thank you so much for fitting us in. That's great.
It's always a pleasure.
And it's 10 o'clock with you, so you'll be looking for your nightcap and little candle soon to go find your way to bed.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the dark, so
very strange for Sweden.
No, it has been lovely to have so many wonderful people online as well and joined our conversation today. It's always joyful.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you, those of you who will watch on Catch Up in the future. Just for your understanding, tomorrow we have our Divine Service streamed live from Paul Church, and that's with Anne Randall, who's coming over from Portsmouth. So she'll be taking that service. And afterwards, we have our annual barbecue out in the garden, and it will be lovely and sunny. Unlike today. Today has just been atrocious.
I'm happy to do the barbecue online.
Do the barbecue online. We're going to have to do it in the oven if it carries on like this.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Fredrik, again, thank you, sir, for your time. It's so much appreciated. And we look forward to linking up again sometime soon. So, good night, everybody.
Good night.